Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We look at the world from where we are entangled. If I am entangled in body identification, I will see in this world only bodies. If I am entangled in money, either riches or poverty, I will see only the chartered accountants. So, where we are buried, we see only that. So, when we say Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, that Guru has no doubt about us being Brahman. But we have doubt about our own self being Brahman. Now what can you do? Therefore, no, it is very difficult. See what happens when we say something is difficult. What is the load of the statement? When you say it is difficult, so okay, what do you want to say by this? Do you mean that you should get a concession in realization? Or you want reservation in realization? Or you want a backdoor entry? Or you want through donation? Or do we mean if it is difficult, therefore we should put more sincere effort and make it possible? But we belong to the category of Arjun. And what Arjun said, when he was told by the Lord, hey Arjun, look at the world as you look at yourself. It is very difficult. And to have equanimity of the mind is more difficult. So what is simple? To be disturbed. So continue. So, to justify one's own lack of sincere efforts, Arjun says, Yoyam yogastvaya proktaha sammena madhusudana etasyaham na pashyami chanchalatva sthitim sthiram. Hey Madhusudana, this technique of equanimity that you are speaking of, I don't think it is possible because the mind is so chanchala, so unstable. So with the unstable mind, to have a stable equanimity, impossible. One example is given, one simile by Santa Gyaneshwar. To control the mind is like trying to collect the mercury which was spilled on a marble flooring by your hand. You try your best. You can never do that. So, sir, what you are talking about this Samya Yoga, equanimity, I don't think it is possible. Why it is not possible? See, whenever we make some statement, we want to justify. There are two ways of thinking. One way of thinking is, we take a decision, then think. Second way is, we think and then take a decision. So the first method is the method of the otherwise. They first take a decision. No, it is not possible. Why you say it is not possible? Because Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavadrudham. Hey Krishna, This mind has these four problems, not one. Which are those four problems? First, chanchalam manaha. The mind is so unsteady. One moment it is not occupied with the same job even for few seconds. Chanchalam. And if it is chanchala, it is okay. But pramathi, it creates its impact on all the senses. So pramathi, it disturbs the senses. Third, then you control it by your force. What force? Balavat. It is stronger than us. So you can't use the force. And try to pursue that. Pursue. Most obstinate. Drudam. So these are the four problems with the mind. It is unsteady. It is creating problems through the senses. It is very strong and it is obstinate. Now such a mind to control and to come to a status of equanimity is something like somebody is trying to control the terrible winds. Impossible. Meaning, control of mind is a morphine given by the Mahatmas to the people. Because they know they will never be able to do that and the Mahatmas are saved. Isn't it? Is it that? And therefore I don't think it is possible for me. Now Bhagwan has to treat a person who has lost hopes in life. Do you know the most highest achievement in human life? Highest achievement in human life is if we are able to help somebody come out of the tragic lifestyle which was created by somebody because of his own faults and come to a point where he has lost confidence. Installation of confidence in the broken hearts is the purpose of the scriptures and the Mahatmas. See, what is wanting is only this. So if we do not have inspiration, we cannot motivate others. The other day in Ahmedabad, I was talking to the corporals. In the corporate world, there are only corporals. So I was talking to them. And the topic was inspiration and motivation. So, inspiration is born from within. Motivation is injected inspiration. It is not self-created. We look at a great master and we get inspired. Hey, when he can do, why can't I do? And we start doing it. So, inspiration is our own originality. And motivation is with a danda behind the buffalo start walking. So, if the Mahatmas themselves are not inspired, they will never be able to motivate others. If they themselves are not established in the absolute equanimity, they will not be able to come out of the turmoils in their life and the lives of others. And therefore, here Bhagavad Sri Krishna has to treat such a patient. Now what the Lord has to say is, Asamshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihate asanyatatmana yogo dushprapa iti me matihi vashyatmana tu yatata shakyo vaptumupayataha. 2-3 points Bhagavan says. First, Arjuna here is addressed by the Lord as Hey Mahabaho. See, in Pune probably, very many years before, there was one girl in whose house I stayed. And she used to go early morning, rather little late to her work. And come home very late. because that is how her work was. She was in a printing press. So, I could never meet her. Because early morning I will go for a meditation class and here and there. And by the time I come back, she has finished and she has gone. And evening also, when I finish everything, come back, then she has, she is yet to come. So when I sleep, then she comes. So I could never meet her. And one day she took off and then she was there. She said, Swamiji, today I have taken off. I'll go and do some shopping for you. Mummy is very angry with me. And she has put on new sari of her mummy. And she says, Swamiji, by the way, today is my birthday. So happy birthday ho gaya. And when she was going, I casually said to her, hey, you are going with such a nice sari and on your scooter, go carefully. And she came back with a torn sari. He said, Swamiji, why did you say like that? I said, I am sorry. She said, because you said, therefore it happened. And then she started telling the story. She said, Swamiji, my mother has got such a tremendous confidence in me. If I lift a glass, it must break. And therefore, I have come to a conclusion that I am good for nothing. Be very attentive. When we talk to somebody and invoke the positivity in him, then alone something can be achieved. If we condemn that fellow, when Arjun says, it is very difficult, of course difficult, Beowkoof ke liye thodi hai. No. Therefore, hey Mahabaho, Arjun, you are capable. Why he was called as Mahabaho? Mahabaho doesn't mean with the long arms like the chimpanzee, not that. Mahabaho means, although he was fighting from the Pandavas side, Pandavas were feeling, the whole army of the Pandavas was feeling extremely strong because Sachin Tendulkar is from our side. No? So they were very happy because of his presence. And the Kauravas were shaken because Arjuna is from Pandava side. So remaining in one side, he was able to control both the sides. Therefore, He Mahabaho. And what is most important in anybody's life is to begin with a positive note. So, first, confidence is installed in that. He Mahabaho. And second thing, never suddenly say no to whatever anybody says. He says, Asamshayam Mahabaho Manaha Durnigraham Chalam. Arjun, you are perfectly right. Mind is difficult and extremely unsteady. You are perfectly right. So, whatever Arjun has said, first, the positive aspect was accepted. Okay. Now, thereafter, Bhagavan has built confidence in him. Now he says, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena jagruhyate. Hey Arjun, it is possible to control this mind by these two techniques. One is Abhyasa, second is Vairagya. See, those of you who have studied Patanjali Yoga Darshan, there three types of seekers are advised. One is the Uttama Adhikari, the best one. Second is the Madhyama, mediocre. Third is the Adhama. And the fourth one is Adhama Adhama. Gone case. Next life. So who are those? The best seeker is the one for whom only these two things are advised. Abhyasa vairagya abhyantan nirodha. In the first pada, this sutra comes. The control of mind is possible through the abhyasa and vairagya, and this is what Bhagavan Sri Krishna also has said. Because Patanjali Yoga Darshan was before Bhagavan Krishna was born. Now there are second type of people who are not that extremely quick in grasping. So for them, the second technique is given, tapasvadhyaya ishvara pranidhanani kriya yogaha. For them, kriya yoga is indicated, they are mediocre. So for them, they have to be told, look here, spirituality means tapasya, don't take food, stand on one leg, and watch your mind. And when you feel frustrated, then come to me, 200 rupees fees. And then when you come to me, I'll tell you, what? Now this is the problem. You will have to do this yajna. And for this yajna, you will require 2.5 lakhs of rupees. Put that amount in my trust. Thereafter, neither your problem will remain, nor you will remain mediocre. And those who are the lowest category, for them Ashtanga Yoga is given. So the supreme most, only two things, Abhyasa Vairagya. The mediocre, three things, Tapasvadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. And for the lowest one, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Now I feel that I am doing some sadhana. So I can sit now in one posture continuously for 3 to 4 seconds. Earlier it was like the smoke coming from the joysticks, now constantly dancing. That is a spiritual practice. Now that person is so much buried at the body level, so he has to be rooted out of that. Therefore all these things are told. Now Bhagwan Krishna knew Arjuna is the best adhikari, and therefore to him it was told, look here, all the problems of our life are born out of uncontrolled mind. Now what is the uncontrolled mind? Be very attentive. Perception is through the mind. When you perceive something, there is no problem. But when perception is followed by the projections, all the problems are born. See? Now, suppose I don't want to look at your face. I can close my eyes. But after looking at your face, if my mind starts projecting, I don't know what kind of person he is or she is, Now that I can't stop. That is why our mind is making us miserable. The moment we perceive, immediately by default, the projections begin. And because of these projections we suffer. Can't we keep our mind shut? Swamiji, it's very difficult. It is difficult. Who says it is not? Then there are techniques. What are the two techniques? First, Abhyasa Vairagya. Now what is Abhyasa? Abhyasa means you have to practice. What happens when we study the material sciences? There we understand. We have to study again and again. Then we have to practice. A simple thing like making chapati. First, when we begin, it is only the map of Japan. With great difficulty, it becomes India. With additional practice, it becomes Australia somehow. And the globe is born when the children are married. See how much time it has taken? But when it comes to control over mind, one day we take the mala in the hand and then start, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. But why this finger is to be kept out? Because when you are chanting, keep the tamaku in your mouth and chuna in your biscuit. 101, everywhere the mind is constantly projecting. And then our problem is, it is very difficult. when we appreciate for achieving perfection and efficiency in any field, how much more efforts are required? But when it comes to control of mind, we want it instantaneously. One story I told you about Vivekananda. He was told by one American doctor that, "Hey Swami, I like your knowledge. Will you please teach me? I am Dr. So-and-so and I earn $10,000 an hour." Americans have got, that arrogance of the stink of dollars. So this great master said, "Yes, I can. But I will not give you free because you are earning. I also want to earn." "Okay, I'll pay your fees." I said, "I don't want fees," he said. Then out of that 1 hour, 5 minutes are gone. So only 55 minutes are left. So in 27.5 minutes, you teach me that knowledge by which I can also earn $10,000 an hour. And in the remaining 27.5 minutes, I will teach you the knowledge which I have got. He said, "Hey Swami, to come to this position, I have studied 27 years in college. Thereafter I have practiced for last 20 years. And then I came to this position. But as regards this knowledge is concerned, with the click of a mouse, we want wisdom to dawn." Abhyasena tu kaunteya. Have patience, have practice. Don't give up. Abhyasena tu kaunteya. Second thing, vairagyena cha griyate. Your practice can become effective if you have absolute dispassion. Now, what is the dispassion? Dispassion doesn't mean that you go in the forest and start thinking about the home. No. Dispassion means you may be anywhere in this world and nothing of this world is ever touching your mind. See, the best example I can think of is like the mirror. Whether the mirror is reflecting the fire, it is not getting burned. Whether the mirror is reflecting the fragrant flowers, it is not influenced by the fragrance. See? In the same manner, when we are functioning in this world with these two attributes, Abhyas and the Vairagya, the mind will come under control. Please remember one thing. Controlled mind does not mean a dead mind. That mind is fully available. It is extremely alert. Where you want to bring the alertness? Only one side, one area. Be alert that you are not miserable. That's it. Otherwise, I am so alert, but nobody listens to me. I am only alert. Don't be alert about this stupid world. Be alert about the quality of your mind. Let the whole world fall into the hell. You keep your cool. So, abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha griyate. And friends, try this. It is possible. It is not impossible. And further the teacher says, asanyatatmana yogo dushprapa iti me matihi. According to my understanding, Arjun Maharaj, he who does not have control over his own lifestyle, he cannot attain this perfection. Now, what is our lifestyle? Our lifestyle is non-stop miserable. Isn't it? We start becoming miserable right from the morning. That Dudwala comes and I don't know why he has to come early morning. Now he cannot bring the morning milk in the evening. Isn't it? I was in Pune and there was one person who was coming for my evening classes. And one day he said, "Swamiji, I like your classes so much, but morning meditation classes I cannot come. Because that is the time for me to go for a walk." So can't you do this way? Why don't you have your morning meditation classes in the afternoon? What we talk, we are not aware what we are talking. Therefore, asanyatatmana yogaha dushprapa iti me mati. Therefore, please remember only one sadhana you do, bhaiya. I am not telling you any complications. Simple sadhana. Refuse to be miserable and be alert about it. Any moment, little bit of your mind is going down, remember me. Ha ha hu hu he he. Refuse. Asanyatatmana yoga. Don't bother about this thing. I have left sugar. I have left chini. But I have not left anger. It is better khub chini khao aur mast raho rather than becoming angry all the time. Asanyatatmana yogo dushprapa iti me mati. And vashyatmana tu yatata shakyaha avaptum upayataha. But he who has decided that now no more the mind can take me for a ride. When the mind takes us for a ride, we can never be anything other than the sentimentals to be subsequently evolved into mentals. Let this mind not play havoc in our mind, in our life. Therefore, he who has thus kept the mind under the foot, how dare the mind can disturb me? You refuse to cooperate with the projections of the mind. Yes, the mind says it is difficult. Who cares? I have to go, I have to go. The moment you take up a very strong position, the world starts shaking. You know, the strength of the world is borrowed from the weakness of our mind. You become strong. The world cannot take you for a ride. So, vashyatmanatu yatata shakyo vaptum upayataha. Now, after having told this, Arjuna asks another question. Now, his question is like our question. Our questions are what? Our questions are sarvajanik prashna. You know, national questions. We have no questions about ourselves because we are gone case. Please remember one thing. If you are walking spiritual path, don't bother about the world. But why people do like this? Are you appointed as an inquiry commission? No. So don't get involved. But when I come to know about it, listen as you are listening to me. Isn't it? It comes from this end and disappears from that end. And again we are neat. Isn't it? It is such a most wonderful thing in this world. So Bhagavan says, Arjuna says, Ayati shraddhayopeto yoga chalitamanasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim krishna gacchati gachinno bhaya vibhrashtaha chinna bhramiva nashyati apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmana pati etanme samshayam krishna chetumarhasya sheshataha tvadanyaha samshayasyasya chetana yupapadyate. Arjuna says, Oh Lord, my problem is, suppose there is somebody and he has shraddha, he has got faith. In the spiritual practice, he has got faith. Shraddhaya upetaha and ayatihi. But he has somehow or the other become little lazy and stopped his spiritual practice. And as a result, yoga chalita manasaha, what spiritual disciplining he was observing earlier, now he has become a little lazy and he is not doing that. And therefore, aprapya samsiddhim. And as a result, because he has not completed his medical college, after third year he has given up. Now, can we call him as doctor? What will happen to him? He will become patient. So his question is, if somebody has full faith, but somehow or the other he has given up his earlier practice, and as a result, what he should have attained through the spiritual practice that he has not attained, then the question comes, what happens to him? See, this is the question many people have in mind. Swamiji, I do not know earlier, during my childhood, I used to chant Hanuman Chalisa, I used to read the whole of Bhagavad Gita, I used to do the puja and all that. But I don't know what happened lately, I just don't get interested in anything, I don't know what is wrong with me. Now this is the problem for every one of us. Now his further question is, Kachinno bhaya vibrashtaha chinna brahmida nashyati. Is it that like the cloud in the sky, after some time by the slaps of the blowing winds, that cloud gets disintegrated and disappears into nowhere? Is it this that is going to happen to this seeker who started with all sincerity, but he has gone the wrong way in between? No, what is going to happen to him? Because he has done something earlier good. But because he has done something wrong, meaning if we have done something wrong, is it going to be a permanent blockade? This is the beauty of our Bhagavad Gita and our philosophy. What is that? You are never condemned to hell eternally. It is not. If you do this, you will go to hell. When everybody dies. Because the judgment cannot come unless everybody dies. Isn't it? Unless all the witnesses are heard, judgment cannot be given. So the judgment day will come when all the fellows will die. And it is not going to happen. So there cannot be judgment. Then you remain in their grave. And therefore they put a lot of heavy load on that. Do you know why? Because those who are alive, they think, when the judgment day comes, this fellow will take a lot of time to remove. Before that, I will go ahead. But when this fellow dies, the other living fellow do the same thing, still bigger stone. No, if you have gone wrong, never mind. Start afresh. Please remember, do not carry the load of the past wrongdoings in your life. There is nothing wrong even if you are the worst kind of criminal. If you have decided to change from this moment onwards. Bhagavan Sri Krishna told us in the 4th chapter, Api chedasi papebhyaha sarvebhya papakrutamaha. See the superlative that he has used. He says, even if you have a doctorate in committing the crimes, still you will be taken care of. Nobody is condemned eternally. Therefore, his question was, now this fellow, because he was doing yoga, and therefore he did not enjoy the world. And by the time he realized, he became so old that he cannot enjoy. So, na raha ghar ka, na raha ghat ka. So, poor fellow, because of his spiritual influenza, he could not enjoy the world. And now he has become old and he has realized, I don't think it was necessary to remain unmarried or a bachelor and go to the forest. I think, it would have been better had I married. So the teacher says, such a person, apratishto mahabaho vimudaha brahmanapatihi. So he is apratishtaha. He is not firmly rooted, be very attentive. He is not firmly rooted on the way to the reality. Because he started and again took a detour and got lost. So what will happen to him? Etan me samshayam Krishna chetum arhasi asheshataha. Hey Krishna, this is the doubt which is constantly biting me. Now be very attentive. Please remember one thing. Do not condemn yourself if you have got the worst kind of the ugliest thought. Don't condemn. There is not a single mind in this whole universe which does not have good and bad thoughts. Every mind. You know what happens? We know about our mind. Once a dirty thoughts come. The other day I received one email. And in that person has written boy probably, or maybe a man, I don't know. He wrote, Swamiji, I am writing you this letter, but I tell you to begin with, I am ashamed of myself. I feel like committing suicide. But then I heard you, this is from Ahmedabad. But I heard you that day in the Ahmedabad Management Association. Then I thought that before committing suicide, let me take advice. So I told him, what type of death you want? There are many techniques available. If you want the, euthanasia, we can give you the injection directly intravenous and you can finish. If you want to have a thrill of death, then for the thrilling experience, you can go and hang yourself on the tree in the midst of the city and have a thrill of it. See, look here. First important thing. 1. You are not bad. The thoughts come and go. Don't identify with them. 2. Don't condemn yourself. 3. This is not the cul-de-sac. This is not the blind end. The path is ahead. And it is just while walking, you just stumble down. If you fall, it is not a sin. After falling, if you don't get up and start walking, it is sin. See how important it is. Therefore, hey Krishna, this doubt of mine is killing me. And this is how we become the victims of our own wrong thinking. So, tvadanyaha samshayasyasya chetana upapadyate. Other than you, O Lord, nobody can remove this doubt from my mind. And therefore, kindly tell me. Now, one more point before we go ahead. What this whole episode tells us. First, when we ask a question to any Mahatma, do we have that conviction like Arjuna had? That the doubt of my mind will be 100% removed by this Mahatma, or we go for the Mahatma shopping? This happens, many times. This happened recently in Delhi. I was in one Vedanta ashram, and after that was over question answer. After the question was asked, I asked a counter question. I said, excuse me, how many Mahatmas you have asked this question? Swamiji, how you know? No, don't worry about that. How many? No, Swamiji, I asked many Mahatmas. I wanted to know your opinion about it. So I said, look here, what is the latest Mahatma told you? Then he told, Swamiji, I went there, I asked this, and he said this. I said, perfectly right. That is the answer. When I know that the person who is asking a question is starting with a doubtful beginning, such a person need not be answered. Our scriptures very clearly tell. It is a dictum. Na prishtaha kasyachid bruyat na cha anyaye na cha pruchhataha janan apihi medhavi jadavat lokamacharet. If somebody has not asked you, don't reply. But Indians are those who have got suggestions, guidance, advice and decision taking for others. Isn't it? You see in the houses, if that boy is looking at the fan, there's nothing to look at the fan, but he's looking like this. And everybody is worried. What the dadi or the dada will do? Mainly dadi. बेटा अब तुम्हारे लड़के की ना शादी करा दो. Decision taken. Whether he wants to get married or not, no. Therefore, here, when we are asking a question to somebody, we have to be fully convinced and accept. And the moment you accept, 100% be very attentive. It is not the words of the Mahatma that help you. It is your undoubted faith that yields results. But what the Mahatmas are providing? They are providing an anchor where faith can be cultivated. The most difficult part is the land where the seeds of faith can be put and subsequently nourished by the proper moisture. And therefore, this is the one part of this question. And second part. In this question, Arjuna is having a very great concern, like all of us have. We have been doing sometime good, sometime we go bad. And then that bad patch in our life becomes such a prominent aspect that all the divine aspect of our life is clouded and we carry only the load of that one blemish. One example I'll give you. There was one girl and she had, because of misfortune or God's will, whatever it is, she had to undergo very bad experience before marriage. And afterwards, love marriage and married. And that girl is very close to me and she will not do anything if I tell her no or yes. And now they are about 10 years or 15 years of marriage. So she asked me, right after marriage, maybe within a week's time, they came back and then she said, Swamiji, something was pricking me for so many days, but I didn't want to do anything without you. I said, what was that? Then she told, this is what has happened in my life. Now I am thinking, I should tell about my life to my husband clearly. Nothing should be hidden. I said, you fool, don't do that. There is no need. Swamiji, I said, you should say, again I'll give one heart. Stop means stop here. I became so furiously angry. And she frightened and she did not do that. After about 10 years of life, first year, Chandramukhi. Second year, Suryamukhi. Third year onward, Jwalamukhi. So when the Jwalamukhi mode began, there are different modes, So when the Jwalamukhi mode began, constantly cut started. And in that, what the husbands can talk? Husbands have got the strength of talking ills about the parents of the wife. They feel that is the greatest achievement of their life. Height of foolishness. So, he will say, your parents have taught you like this thing? Every small little thing, your daddy has taught like this thing? And then she came to me, Swamiji, I think what you told me 10 years before and I listened to you was right. Today, small little things are enough for him to pick up and make my life miserable. Had I told him that time out of my innocence, he would have made my life throughout life miserable. See how important it is. Therefore, when we go to the teacher, and this is the advice given to us, okay, something wrong, bad has happened. Don't carry that load throughout your life. Get out of it. That is what spirituality means. We don't go to the sanatorium when we are healthy, isn't it? Then we go to some resort. Therefore, if we are in this world, because there are some blemishes, They have to be clean. So kindly tell me what will happen to such a person. Now Bhagwan begins. This is the concluding part of this most wonderful chapter. Partha naiveha namutra vinashas tasya vidyate nahi kalyana krut kaschit durgatim tadagacchati. The first principle of spiritual life. If you have done even little good in your life, please remember, the same person to whom you have done good may not do good to you in return. It is possible. But the good that you have done will never go waste. See? The goodness will come back to you. It is very, very important to understand. I was in probably Rishikesh or Vrindavan, one of the places. And I went to some ashram, and that Mahatma is very much known. And I went and sat and talking. And there was another Mahatmaji, and he started talking to that other Mahatmaji. He said, oh, this Mahatma, he is a flying Swami. Every week he is on the airport and moving, maja hai inki. I was keeping quiet. You know what that elderly Mahatma said? He said, he must have done a lot of good work in his last life. And as a result of this, in this life, he has got all the comforts. And you must not have given one kaudi to somebody. See, now those people to whom we have done good in the last life, they themselves will not come and do good to us. But the goodness will be definitely rewarded. This is the principle of life. Now, if we have practiced some spiritual practice, maybe for a short period of time, and then we have derailed, don't be afraid that your goodness, what you have practiced, what your spiritual practice you have done in your life, it is not null and void. It is still stored there. This is the first principle. Therefore, don't give up hopes. Similarly, it is not only we should not give hope, but if your children are going the wrong way, don't be afraid. They will go here and there and again come back. But when they come back, have the magnanimity to accept them and embrace them with love and not condemn them with the curses. This is what we do. Who has not done wrong in this world? Because we cannot forgive ourselves, we are afraid of forgiving others. Friends, forgiveness is the only technique by which you can cleanse your heart and remove the poison of hatred from your mind. It is so simple. Therefore, whatever little sadhana we have done, don't worry, it is available. Na vinashaha tasya vidyate. You are not condemned to death. You are not condemned for eternal hell. On the contrary, those of you who are interested in hell, in Bhagavad Mahapuran, there are 28 varieties. You can go, click, all the 28 names will come. And select, highlight and click. And send. Now, what happens? The story continues. Prapya punyakritan lokan ushitva shashvati samaha shuchi nam srimatam gehe yoga vrashto vijayate athava yogi nameva kule bhavati dhimatam etadhi durlabhadaram loke janma yadi drusham. There are two possibilities. A person who has been doing quite good in his life, but it so happened that either he got into the wrong company or something happened, and because of that all his spiritual practice was washed away as if, and he came down to the most disgusted lifestyle. Many people who talk about Ajamila, that Ajamila, only he chanted once Bhagwan's name and he was liberated, and he was the worst kind of human being ever born. Be very attentive. This is not the complete story of Ajamila. If you read his complete story, up to a particular time, he was a Brahman Kulotpanna. He has done all the spiritual practice extremely sincere. But one step wrong. And because of that one wrong step, he has gone wayward here and there. And yet, all that practice he has done, that practice alone has come to his help at the time of death. So it is not suddenly it has happened. In the same manner, here Bhagwan says, when we have done a very good spiritual practice, we have been very sincere and without attainment of the results in the same life, because lots of desires started purging up. When this happened and he died, then what will happen? As a result of his good spiritual practice, he will go to the heavens. And there he will live for hundreds of years. And after living in the heavens for hundreds of years, then what will happen? He will be again born in this world where Jopadapatti? No. He will be born Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Vijayate. Therefore, those people who have got hatred for the rich people, they should understand this principle. Nobody is born in a rich family by mistake. See, the other day I was somewhere, I don't remember, one of the places, and there was one girl with me. The girl also I don't remember. We were in a hotel, and when we went there for our tea or coffee, one madam came, and she sat on the next our table. And from her purse, she took out a cute living dog like a dog and kept that dog there and went to buy her things. And the dog was sitting, obedient. You know, in India, even children are not obedient. There, even dogs are obedient. Funny. So, I was watching because I like watching things. You know, cartoon show everybody likes. So I was watching, and then that girl asked me a question. Swamiji, now tell me, how this dog is so lucky? In our country, we don't get even food to eat. And here this dog be such a beautiful mod kind of girl, and hugging and kissing, and he is also licking all around, and in her purse, and wherever she goes, like the Krishna being carried by the Pushti Margis. Now this fellow is carrying that doggy, what is this? How do we justify? I said, look here. This fellow must have been a very great Dharmatma. And he must be having a dog in his house. And toward the end of his life, he must have been very passionately in love with his dog. Because all the people have deserted him. So all the time, doggy, 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 doggy. And in that dog thought, he died. So the last thought was the dog thought. So he has to take the birth of a dog. But because the punya he has done, instead of being a Bombay ka kutta, he was born as a dog, all right. But in a most modern society where dogs are respected more than the gods. Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Vijayate. That is why you see, in Bhagavad it comes. You can know where from this person has come from the last life. If somebody has come directly from the hell, right from birth, he is cranky and very disturbed, angry, and he doesn't like happiness. He becomes a sadist. Why? Latest experience of the tortures in the hell. And if somebody is born after having completed the joy of the heavens, and then he comes in this world. So he is at peace, he is cheerful and happy. Don't we see a child born and brought up in the most sophisticated royal family, and a child who is born and brought up in a jhoppadpatti standing on the road cross? See the difference. Therefore, whatever we are today is the continuation of our past. Don't blame anybody. So, Shuchi Nam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Vrashto Vijayate. So, those who have been doing this yoga abhyasa, but they have failed for some reason, they are born in these rich and good families where they will fulfill their remaining desires and then they will rise above the desire. This is how Buddha Bhagavan was born. Shuchi Nam Srimatam Gehe, he was born to a royal family, but only up to a particular level. After that, nothing could attract him. Now the second alternative. Athava yogi nameva kule bhavati dhimatam. Or if a yogi has been practicing his yoga abhyas, no desires, no expectation, but he could not complete his spiritual practice, and the body has to be given up, then what happens? Then he is again born in the divine families of the great yogis, where from he continues his spiritual practice where he has left half. Don't we see great artists? They are born right from that moment onward, they have got all the things. Like, take the best example I can think of, he is our tablis Zakir Hussain. From day one, when he was not able to stand before the tabla, he could take out the bowl. See, this is not an accident. And therefore, now the conclusion is, if we are practicing spiritual life, and if you still have some desires to be fulfilled, and if you halfway go, never mind. Go to the heaven, enjoy, come back, get born, and go through all the good and bad, but hold on to the direction, to the goal of your life. And if you are wise enough, the worldly things will never attract you. Your mind will remain all the time composed within, and such a person alone has the dignity of inquiring about the reality. And Bhagavan says, such a birth, to be born in the divine families who are dedicated for the spiritual unfoldment, is rare indeed. See, Bhagavan Shankaracharya is not born to a Tom, Dick and Harry. Bhagavan Shankaracharya's parents have undergone lot of tapasya, and toward the end of their life, then Bhagavan Shankara himself appeared before both the husband and the wife, and this is how he was named as Shankara. So, when we thus go and grow in our spiritual life, we slowly become purified and grow further spiritually. Then, tatratam buddhi sanyogam labate paurvadehikam yatate cha tato bhuyaha samsiddhau guru nandana. Now, when he is thus born in this new life, there he has not forgotten any of his earlier spiritual practice. How it is possible? It is possible. We all have been eating in every birth. Are we to be told that you have to eat by the mouth? Even a child who is born, he never puts his thumb in the ear. No, who has told a child that you have to put the thumb in the mouth? And after having put the mouth, in the mother's breast, who tells the child, now you have to start the suction pump? Who told? It is not that the mouth is, Mama, what next? No, because we have been practicing this in every life. If these small little things are able to be carried over in the next life, the spiritual practice does not go waste. Tatratam purvas buddhi sanyogam labhate paurvadehikam. That is the reason we all have, for no reason. Somebody likes Rama, somebody likes Hanumanji, somebody likes Lord Shiva, somebody likes Bhagwan Krishna. What is the reason? Reason is that that particular person was doing that kind of sadhana in the earlier life and the same thing continued. And jatate cha tato bhuyaha samsiddhau kurunandana. And therefore such a seeker in his next life, right from the earlier age, he is naturally inclined for the spiritual practice. See, there are many people, right from childhood, they are not interested in playing and all that. Their game is what? Go to the temple, talk to the God, and offer the flowers, and all that. This is not accidental. And this is how, when a person has that vision, he is able to pick up that person among the thousands and know, Acha, where were you missing, Maharaj? See, in the life of the Guru of Santa Jnaneshwara, Nivruttinath, they were by the force of the divine will, they were pulled in this Trambakeshwar. Those days it was a terrible forest. And suddenly a lot of wind and all kinds of things came, and he was lifted by a tiger and taken away. Nobody knew where is he. And when he reached near his Guru, then the Guru said, where were you? I have been waiting for you for last 200 years. See? These are not accidents, friends. Therefore, yatate cha tato bhuyaha samsiddhau kurunandana. Hey Arjun, thereafter that seeker continues his spiritual practice. And how it happens? Purvabhyasena tenaiva hriyate hyavashopi saha jidnyasurapi yogasya shabda brahmati vardate. So purvabhyasena, because of his earlier practice, he is able to attain efficiency in whatever field he has been doing earlier so quickly that he Shabda Brahmati Vartate means what? He is able to grasp the correct meaning of the words without any ambiguity. See, when the word Atma is said, what is the meaning that is born in our heart? When Brahman is said, what is the meaning that is born in our heart? That depends on what is our training. So when our training has been this spiritual practice, the very word Atma is enough to switch off. If you want to understand this, please read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. 100 times this thing comes in his life. He goes somewhere and they just start chanting. For example, one Rama Prasada's bhajan about the Kundalini. Only the first line is uttered and he is in a standing posture, fixed and lost. This is the meaning, Shabda Brahmati Vartate. He is no more caught in the web of the words, but he is fixed in the meaning of the words. Shabda Brahmati Vartate. And Jidnyasurupa Yogasya Shabda Brahmati Vartate. Prayatnadyatamaanastu yogi samsiddha kilvishaha anena aneka janmasin siddhau tataha yati param gatim. So, such a person, prayatnadyatamaanaha tu yogi. So, what is to be done? Two things. Prayatna, don't give up efforts. Even if something has gone wrong, never mind. Again, come back. What will happen to the past? Give it to me. I tell you friends, this I told you earlier, some other context. One man was observing me in Ganges. I was with all my brahmacharis. And I put everybody with the hand and take one lota and I was giving them abhishek. Sahasrashir Chapurushaha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat, lot of fun and maja was going on. And this man was watching. And he said, Swamiji, I have got a question. I looked at him. I said, am I that questionable? Then everywhere the questions follow me. He says, Swami, whatever it is, I got a question. I said, Kapde kholo aa jao. And he came. And he said, Swamiji, I am suffering because of something that has happened because me in the past and I am unable to get out of it. Please help me, please help me. I have tried everything. I went to this temple, I went to that temple, done this upas, this dhaga, that dhaga, and this production, everything did, nothing is helping me. I said, yours is a special case. What is to be done first? Don't ask a question. Second, do what I say. Third, don't tell me what happened. Disappear. And he did that. And after that was over, after 6 months again he made. And so changed a person. What I have done? Nothing. Same thing here the Lord says. Prayatna yatamanastu. Don't give up. When you keep on practicing in your life, yatamanaha, when you are putting efforts again and again, yogi samshuddha kilbishaha, your mind will become definitely pure. On the contrary, impurity in the mind is only not knowing what is the meaning of impurity. One example I'll give you. This example also I give many times. If I am taking food and while taking food many times my daddy also eats some rice. So finally excuse me some kachra, something on your daddy. So I take it on. It is not kachra, it is rice. So do you mean I am eating kachra or what? Then why that rice on my daddy is called as kachra? Because it should not have been there. Wrongly placed thing is called as kachra, impurity. In the same manner, mind is basically thought-free knowledge. Thought-free knowledge is consciousness. When the thoughts pollute the consciousness, the mind is born, and that is the highest sin. Therefore, samshuddha kilbishaha, aneka janma samsiddhaha. And this will take how much time? Aneka janma samsiddhaha. There is no hurry. Take very lightly and live joyfully, happily. Suppose I don't realize in this life, what is the hurry? Next life. There is no hurry. We have got plenty of trains. Ek chali gayi to dusri aayegi. It is not only there is last, but there is no last train in spirituality. You have got always one. And thereafter the teacher says, tapasvibhyo dhiko yogi jnanibhyopi mato dhikaha karmibhyascha dhiko yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. Therefore, Arjun, karmibhyascha tapasvibhyo dhiko yogi, those who are torturing and doing tapasya, better than them is the yogi. Second, jnanibhyopi mato dhikaha, those who are only talking wisdom and living foolishness, better than them is this yogi. Third, karmibhyascha dhiko yogi, those who are keeping themselves awfully busy in this world, better than them is the yogi. Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. Be very attentive. Who is the yogi? Atmaupamena sarvatra samam pashyati Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sa yogi. That is the yogi. Yogi is not the one what we can imagine the acrobatics going on. That is not the yogi. It is only control of the matter. After controlling the matter, apply the mind in the inquiry of what the world is, who you are, who the Lord is, and as a result come to realize that the reality cannot be other than me. He is a yogi. And what is the yoga? Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sannitam. Yoga is that refusal to be a miserable person is the practice of yoga. And therefore, tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. Therefore, what Bhagavan Krishna has said, therefore, be happy. See, every chapter of Bhagavad Gita will tell you the same thing. Life is a festival of celebration. It is not a torture of some sadistic God who has created this. We are not punished by our actions. We are punished for our actions. Therefore, friends, tasman yogi bhavarjuna. योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान भजते यो माम समे युक्ततमो मतः. Now Bhagavan says, Arjun, one more thing. What is that? This Param Yogi that I spoke to you, even superior to him, there is one still more yogi. Now what is that yogi? Bhagavan says, Yoginam api sarvesham, of all the yogis, madgatena antaratmana, he who has merged in me, that means he has seen the divine presence in everything and everybody. See, Shraddhavan bhajate yoman. And how he has started seeing? Earlier he did not see, but he had faith. Faith can move mountains if the faith is stronger than the mountain. Not the other way around. If we have got those, rolling those rolls shoes, and we want to push a small table, we will go back. Because we are not firm. In the same manner, our faith is like the mole. And a mountain is like a mountain. It will not move. So when it is said, the faith can move mountain, it means your faith has to be stronger than the mountain. And therefore, Shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. He who has got this tremendous faith in the divine scheme of existence, he has no complaints, he has nothing to achieve, he has nothing to protect. Then what he has to do? Be happy. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.